is happening? Welcome to my channel. My name is Matt Bradford. Today we're going to talk about, this will be the first in a few videos of chord shapes and chords on lap steel, how to approach chords, how to approach chord changes, etc. I'm going to do a little bit of talking first. If you want to get to the very first chord stuff, it's going to start right here. All of today's lesson materials are going to be on Patreon, so all the diagrams, the backing track, all of that stuff. If you please join me there, the link is below. It's $5 a month as of the filming of this video, and that's how I'm trying to continue to do these videos because they're not paying for themselves yet, for sure. So anyway, that's that. Gear being used. Apocalypse Machine lap steel. I built these. They are not for sale. There are many great lap steels. I have a whole video about that. But Apocalypse Machine lap steel, it's a Fralin, no, it's not. That's a Novak. Curtis Novak Firebird pickup in the neck and a Fralin noiseless P90 in the bridge. I'm going through an Origin Effects Cali 76 and then into my Black Volt. You probably can't see it. I'll you can Google it. Black Volt Crazy Horse. It's like a Tweed Deluxe style amp. It's awesome. And then into a Sur Reactive Load IR, into Logic, and in Logic I'm using a little bit of delay and reverb in Logic. So I think that's it. That's exciting. Okay, chord shapes. Let's start with the simplest thing, which is, let's start with, so here's a major scale. And the reason that we have the major scale up here is chord shapes come from the major scale. So all the chord numbers, all of the stuff, when I start talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they all come from the major scale. They all come from this, what that is, we got 1, 2, 3. May I just do it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay? So, all the chord shapes, all of this stuff naturally occurs in the major scale. Our major chord, our naturally occurring major chord, we are tuned to a major chord. We're tuned in open D tuning, and we are tuned to the major chord, which is D. And the notes in a D chord are 1, 3, 5, right? When we did that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The notes in a D chord are 1, 3, and 5. That's what this is. 1, 3, 5. The way the whole chord is laid out, and I'll put it up here, it's 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. All right. So that's a major chord. Your major chord shape, straight across. Now, you can play a major chord anywhere. Some of them sound right. Some of them sound wrong. Because it doesn't fit in the scale. But we're talking about chord shapes. And so our first most important chord is just the one, it's a major chord, and it's 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. Okay. Now, we're going to go back to our major scale. You can see in the major scale that this next area here that I've highlighted in orange, this is what is a minor chord shape, okay? Now, in this case, it's the 2 chord in the key of D, but this is what a minor chord shape is right here. So if your minor chord is your 1 chord, or it's your 5 chord, or your 6 chord, or your whatever chord it is, this is the shape for a minor chord. Ugh, pardon me. But it occurs naturally in the major scale. And it's in this case, in the major scale, the first minor chord we see is a 2 chord or an E minor. Okay, but that shape is a minor chord shape, and it's 1, 5, 1, flat 3, 5, 1. Now, again, we're talking about it not in the scale, just as a chord. 1, 5, 1, flat 3, 5, 1. Because the minor chord and the major chord only have one note different. And that's that 3. So in the scale of E, it would be, that would be major. In the scale of D, the E is minor. And this is where our chord shapes come from. The chord shapes don't exist in a vacuum. They exist in the context of all the other things that we're playing. And so as we get more advanced, we're going to start doing things like modal interchange and borrowing chords from other keys and doing stuff like that. And it all is born out of the major scale. So that's why we're starting like this. In the major scale, we have some naturally occurring chords, right? The 1 is major, the 2 is minor, the 3 is minor, the 4 is major, your 5 is major, your 6 is minor, and then we get to our third shape. Our third shape here is the diminished shape, okay? This is the 7 chord in the key of D, so it's a C sharp diminished chord. And what that is a 1, flat 3, flat 5. So in this case, it's a 1, flat 5, 1, flat 3, flat 5, 1. Diminished. So these are the naturally occurring, what we call oh my god, diatonic chords, but there's a, I don't know if there's a name for the three. We're just major and minor and diminished chords. I'm sure there's a name for them, but I'm blanking on it right now. So if it comes to me, but while I'm editing this, I'll throw it up here. But these are the natural chord shapes. So when we look at the scale, we can see the chords occurring naturally. So the first exercise we're going to do, we're going to take this backing track and we're just going to play just chord tones against the changes. Now the changes on this backing track, let's listen real quick. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 7, 6, 5. Okay, so check it out. It's the 1 chord. 2 chord. And it does it twice. You can also, if you know how to use a DAW, you can loop it. That could be a cool thing to do. But let's just do this. We're just gonna do chord tones. On the 1 chord, if you've been watching any of my other videos, you know where your 1s, 3s, and 5s are. So we can use some of those fretted notes against the 1 chord. If you don't, then just use open strings. But I think that the open strings can sound a little bit kind of just by themselves, just right. So being able to get right, chord tones only against the chord changes. Now we're going down. Now we're going down again. Okay, so look, the idea here, and obviously you can do this against any chord change. I picked this because I wrote this change because it has all of the chords in it. But you can see that this is the beginning of how we're going to build these chords and just getting to learn how the chord shapes work and how to play within the shape of the chord. Now, the next thing we can do, the next exercise that we can do, is we can start to add chord tones around we can start to I know the words. We can start to add scale tones around the chord tones. So I know that my 1 is here. I know that my 1 notes are here, and I can add the scale tones in between. Here's my 3. go down to the 2, then the 1, right? Then down to the 7 to the 6. This is my 2 chord, and I can go 6, 5, 4, right? 3, 2, 4, 3. Right, I can play some of the notes outside of the chord tones. The trick is, and we've done this before in other exercises too, is if we're going to play a note outside of the chord tones, the next note needs to be in the chord tones. So we're only using scale tones, and we're mostly using chord tones. But if we're going to use a note that is outside of the chord, the next note needs to be inside the chord. Right? If I'm playing a 1, 3, and a 5, that's my 1 chord, and I add a 2. Then I need to make sure that my next note is in the chord. Check it out. That's down here, it should be down here. Yeah. Okay, all we're doing is working out. Come on, baby. Don't go to sleep on me. All we're doing is working out. All we're doing is working out where we are, learning the chord shapes and the scale shapes. Everything's still recording? Okay, that's good. The chord shapes and the scale shapes. Learning more ways to navigate the fingerboard. So knowing my chord shapes, but also knowing my scale around those chords, because the scale is different around the 1 chord than it is around the 4 chord. By 1 note. The shape is different, right? Here's my 1 chord. And here's my 4 chord. So the shape around the chord is different, even though the chord shape remains the same. This is where it's at. So let's stop here. This is probably a nice bite-sized lesson. Let's do it one more time. I'm going to go through it one more time. But the idea is this: to play the chord shapes against the chord tones. Play the chord shapes and the chord tones against the changes, right? Not existing in a vacuum, against the changes. Here we go. I got a little outside there a couple times, but you get the idea, right? And this is, again, look, when I demonstrate these, I hope you see that I am certainly not playing them perfect. And so, the idea here is that these exercises never get old. These exercises are never too simple, because somehow I'm so advanced. I don't know, but like I think I can play at a particular level, and I could be doing these exercises more. This is the way my brain works, though, around these chords. So we're going to do a bunch more of these. I haven't even gotten into 7 chords. That was my next my next idea, but we're not there yet. Let's just do these two, and I want you to just use the chord tones that are in the major scale and play this track and the other tracks I have up there on Patreon. Join Patreon on Patreon, and yeah, man, we're gonna keep going. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful.